Following the sudden death of his parents, young Elio Solis lives with his aunt Olga, an Air Force major. Olga decided to give up her aspirations of becoming an astronaut to raise her nephew by herself. One time, Elio wanders off into a closed-off exhibit of the Voyager 1 spacecraft. He was immediately wonderstruck with the notion of discovering other life in outer space. Since then, Elio has developed an alarming obsession with being abducted by aliens. He spends most of his time at the beach, waiting for aliens to take him, but without any results. One night he falls asleep, waiting at the beach. When he woke up, he thought he was finally getting abducted. Turns out, it was only Bryce who was interested in joining the ham radio club from the posters all over town. Bryce takes out his father's ham radio, which Elio borrows, thinking he could pair it with his to double its reach. Out of nowhere, another kid drops by, Caleb, Bryce's friend who was also interested in joining the club. Elio tries to brush them off and send them away when the radio suddenly picks up a mysterious signal. Caleb grew curious and was about to touch the radio, but Elio wouldn't let him. While they were wrestling for the radio, it inadvertently hits Elio's eye and breaks. In a fit of rage, Elio charges at Caleb and attacks him when cops show up and take them in. Olga was furious when she learned Elio had been skipping school and fighting with other kids. Elio is forced to wear an eye patch for the next 2 weeks because of what happened. When she confronts him, Olga's colleagues pass by and wonder if she will be going to the seminar. They tell her that there will be a speaker from the astronaut selection program, but she turns them down, claiming that something has come up. She leaves him in her office to attend one last meeting for the day. When Elio overhears conspiracy theorist Gunther Melmack has found evidence of aliens, he sneaks inside to join the meeting. The evidence they were talking about was the same signal Elio picked up from his radio. After analyzing it, Melmack spliced the audio to hear voices from the recording. He suspects it was the golden record that NASA launched in the Voyager back in 1977. He believes that someone from outer space has found their message and sent it back to them as a reply. He claims that this was their first contact and that they had to respond. He already rerouted every satellite to send the signal back with a response. Olga brushes him off and tells him to go home, reminding everyone else that they are orbiter analysts who track space debris, not UFO signals. When the employees go take a break, Elio comes out of the garbage can and quickly sends a response using Melmack's computer. Sending the response through every satellite has caused a power outage at the military base, nearly costing Olga her job. Although Elio is excited about the aliens, Olga decides to send him to a youth camp. Elio claims she just wanted to get rid of him. Olga explains that he needs to make friends, but Elio argues that he doesn't need them and wants to meet aliens. When asked why, he explains that there are 500 million habitable planets out there and that one of them must want him. Olga states that they are a family, but Elio claims that she isn't, to which she is devastated to hear him say that. The next day, Olga drops off Elio at Camp Carver. She claims that she too used to go there when she was young and believes that it would be good for him. He was quickly greeted by Bryce and Caleb, who were still furious at him for all the trouble they got into. That night, Elio was doing his usual routine, trying to make contact with aliens, when Caleb gathered the other kids to scare him. Back at the military base, Olga was feeling guilty for sending Elio to camp when she suddenly received a strange signal. She was surprised to discover that it was the same signal Melmack found earlier. Suddenly, random images appear on the screen, and words spell out, "Bring us to your leader," before they have another power outage. Meanwhile, Elio runs through the forest to hide, but Caleb and the other kids catch up and find him. Just as he was about to face a beating, everything suddenly froze, even raindrops in the air. Behind the bright light, an alien ship emerges and beams him up, to which he is thrilled. Inside the alien ship, he is greeted by a liquid supercomputer that attaches a part of itself to Elio that allows him to communicate with it. Welcomes him to the Communiverse, an intergalactic organization of the advanced species of the cosmos. It explains that the greatest minds of the universe go there to share their knowledge and innovation. He later meets with alien ambassadors Questa, Helix, and Tegman. Helix claims they search the universe for like-minded souls and believes that he is a perfect candidate to become a member of the Communiverse. After showing Elio around, Helix explains that they were looking for him after picking up the Voyager in an asteroid field. Curious about humans, they sent an invitation to Earth and were happy to receive his response, the one he sent using Melmac's computer. They quickly assumed him to be Earth's leader, but before Elio could explain, the ambassadors were pulled into an emergency meeting with another candidate, Lord Grigan. Grigan proposes that with his weapons and the Communiverse's technology, they would be unstoppable. Questa turns him down, claiming that he is not fit for the Communiverse. Grigan begrudgingly leaves, but not before declaring that if he can't join the Communiverse, then he will take it by force. Worried that Grigan will return to conquer them, the alien ambassadors decide to return to their own home planets. Helix explains that with the current situation, they will have to postpone Elio joining the Communiverse and return him to Earth. Worried he would return to the loser life he had, Elio volunteers to talk to Grigan and convince him to give up on the Communiverse. The others are skeptical of him for taking such a huge risk, but Elio explains that he is an expert in conflict negotiation. Helix promises to make him a member on the spot if he manages to get rid of Grigan. Suggests making a clone of Elio, worried that the planet will quickly go into chaos if leaders such as him disappear. After making an exact copy of himself, sends his replacement back to Earth at the time they interrupt the bullies beating him. Before he faces Grigan, Elio consults with the Universal User's Manual for information on how to negotiate with a warmonger. Olga furiously takes other Elio home when she hears of the fight. When Grigan's army is fast approaching, Elio flies out to handle the negotiations. Grigan was surprised the Communiverse sent someone so small to negotiate. He claims that he prefers to negotiate with the alien version of clay pigeon shooting. Elio states he left his blaster at home, but Grigan insists on lending him some of his. Elio impresses Grigan when he inadvertently hits the target, which Grigan describes as a trick shot. Elio explains that if Communiverse doesn't want him, why not look for someone who does? Grigan argues that the Communiverse is where the greatest leaders gather and declare that he is one. Their conversation is interrupted when Grigan's son wants to speak with him. Elio unintentionally angers Grigan when he suggests shipping his son if he's too hard to handle. Grigan claims that nothing is too hard for him to handle and throws Elio in prison. Elio escapes from prison and meets Grigan's son, Glorden. He was surprised to discover that High Lurgens are slug-like aliens without their armor. When the alarms go off, Elio admits the truth to Glorden. When he realizes that he is Grigan's son, Elio asks Glorden if he can use him as a bargaining chip to force his father to leave the Communiverse, to which he quickly agrees. They escape through the tunnels and back to his ship just before Grigan is about to fire on Communiverse. Elio opens negotiations again with Grigan, but this time he holds Glorden hostage, to which he plays along. When Elio starts tickling Glorden, Grigan gives in, unable to bear listening to the unfamiliar sound of his son giggling. Elio demands he leave the Communiverse alone, which Grigan promises in exchange for his son's safety. After successfully negotiating with Grigan on their behalf, the other ambassadors celebrate their victory and immediately make Elio a member of the Communiverse. While waiting for Grigon to pick him up, Elio spends the day with Glorden, exploring the communiverse, drinking and eating all kinds of food. Elio and Gordon confide in each other, to which Elio feels alone and misunderstood by his aunt, and believes she doesn't want him, while Glorden refuses to become a warmonger like his father. When Grigon brings Glorden's armor, he confides in Elio that he has been pretending all this time when, in reality, he doesn't want it. Elio comforts him, but Glorden claims that he has to do it as part of their tradition. If he doesn't, he worries his father wouldn't want him. Elio devises a plan to use a clone to wear Glorden's war machine and fool Grigon so they can stay together. Glorden worries that his father will see through it, but Elio reassures him that it will work just as well as his replacement is doing on Earth. Elio hides the real Glorden in his ship while he takes the clone back to Grigon. Elio was nervous that they'd get caught during the whole ceremony. He is relieved that everything has worked out. But Grigon notices Glorden's unusual behavior and starts to suspect. Just when they were about to award Elio his membership badge, Grigon fired on Glorden's armor, revealing to have learned it wasn't his son. When Elio refuses to tell them where he is, Grigon orders Questa to read his mind. Questa informs them that Glorden is inside Elio's embassy ship, but she is more horrified by the other things she learned about Elio. When Grigon searches for his son, Glorden inadvertently activates the ship's control and sends it on a path back to Earth. Meanwhile, Questa was horrified by the shocking revelation that she ordered O to open a portal back to Earth. She informs the other ambassadors that not only did Elio betray them, but he is also not Earth's leader, or any leader, for that matter. Grigon returns furious when he cannot find his son and decides to take over Communiverse. When Grigon turns his anger at Elio, Questa tries to stop him and pushes Elio to safety through the portal. Elio is devastated after returning to Earth when he suddenly sees his aunt with fake Elio at the beach. He felt left out, so he decided to walk away when his aunt noticed him. Olga was already aware that the one she was with was not the real Elio when she discovered the missing left eye under its patch. She is relieved when she realizes he is the real Elio and the two embrace. He was surprised when she told him she missed him. Elio thought that she wasn't happy with the life she had, having been forced to give up being an astronaut, but Olga claimed that the only thing she wanted was him. Fake Elio returns and reports that there has been a lot of commotion at the military base. En route, Elio recognizes his ship and asks his aunt if she has clearance to get inside. Fake Elio sacrifices his life to distract the guards so Olga and Elio can sneak inside. Worried they'd get caught, they quickly wore a hazmat suit to approach the ship so Elio could open it. Elio was surprised to find a dying Glorden inside the ship. It turns out that the communication disc was broken, hence why Glorden is shivering to death. Olga tells Elio to take off when they nearly get caught. Worried they were running out of time, Elio tried a high-speed space jump, but they were prohibited from doing so as the path was blocked. Olga quickly realizes that they are in the debris field, but when Elio recklessly flies the ship, Olga stops him, claiming that these objects are faster than bullets. Olga states this is different from what she usually does, as she has no idea where this debris is coming from. She claims that if she could only have someone from the ground give her coordinates, she could project the direction it is coming from. When Olga said they'd need someone with a ham radio, Bryce quickly came to mind. Elio reached out to Bryce, but when he couldn't give them the information they needed, he recommended them to Melmac. With Melmac's help, Olga and Elio were able to get past the space debris until they were still within signal range. Once the radio goes silent, Olga and Elio are back to being blind in the middle of a storm. With less than 50% left of their shields, they suddenly receive reports from space stations across the globe, helping them brave through the debris field. Once in the clear, Elio goes through a hyperspeed space jump towards the Communiverse. With no time to spare, they land in the middle of Grigon's army, taking everyone in. When Glorden remains unresponsive, Grigon rips his suit to swaddle him, saving his life. Grigon demands they explain themselves, so Elio convinces Glorden to admit the truth to his father. When Glorden acknowledged that he didn't want to become a war machine, Grigon explained that he always knew. Grigon claims that although he may not understand him, he still loves him. Having realized his mistake, Grigon apologizes to his son and everyone in Communiverse. Meanwhile, Cuesta offers Elio his membership badge and welcomes him back as an ambassador of Communiverse. Elio was surprised that they welcomed him back after he had lied to them, but they explained that he had sacrificed himself to save another. Helix claims that Elio behaved as admirably as any real planetary leader. Cuesta claims he has earned his place among them, to which Elio is thrilled. Looking back, Elio realized he had to choose whether to stay in the Communiverse or return to Earth with his aunt. After coming to a decision, Elio returns the badge to Cuesta and explains that although the Communiverse is amazing, Earth has always been his home. He states he never gave Earth a chance, but he is ready to try it again with his aunt. He claims that this isn't goodbye and promises to return in the future. Cuesta claims that he is unique and can sometimes feel lonely, but she reassures him that he is never alone. Even without the Communi discs, Elio felt what the others wanted to say. Once ready, the Communiverse returns Olga and Elio to Earth. In a post-credits scene, Elio and Bryce continue contacting Glorden through ham radio. Thank you for watching. Check out these other videos, and subscribe and tap the bell to be notified about our latest videos. See you next time.